Okay, here's another fun one. We'll actually start with our raw file, since we have plenty of time. NX2, set that to be the default. We'll just use Camera Raw for ease. Okay. Alrighty, so we have our image here, and it's actually not terrible. We'll add a little bit of darkening at the edges here on our lens tab. Nice thing about the lens tab, you can notice the highlights up here aren't getting darker. I adjust anything that has something to it. I'm not getting a lot darker anyway, because this is kind of a burning. This is more like a burning than just this one down here is just like you painting with black over the top. So I tend to prefer this one a little bit. You got a handy dandy brush up here in Camera Raw. If you want to, say we want to put a little more detail into our tree trunk here. Turn on Auto Mask, which tries and does a pretty good job of figuring out what it is I'm trying to paint. So we'll just paint over this tree a little bit, not really worrying about what it looks like right now. But now we have all these sliders. We can adjust our exposure of the tree, contrast. And the nice thing about this is it's using the raw data. So I was talking to Dad yesterday with his little tour. A JPEG has this 8-bit file, 256 levels of red, green, and blue. A RAW file, a 16-bit RAW file, has 65,000 levels of red, green, and blue. So you got a lot more if you can do it here than anywhere else. And you can hold down the Option key if you mess up here and you want to take a little bit out. Take that side out a little bit, just right here. Okay, so now the problem with this picture is, again, the sky. Everything in here looks good, but the sky is kind of, you wonder what it, which actually that's what the sky looked like the whole time I was here. Never saw really sky and sun. It was all just clouds. But we can make this a little nicer. What we're going for, I actually have a finished one here somewhere, is this. And we're going to get that streaming sun through the leaves kind of look. So, we didn't actually need fog, we're going to make it. So first thing we're going to do is go to Select, choose Color Range, and there's other ways to do this. This is the easiest one to remember. We're going to choose right up here, Highlights. So anything that's a highlight, you can see right here, all that white area is going to be selected. So we click OK. Now it's selected. Hit Command J, which will pop it up on its own layer. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll make a new layer, fill it with black so you can see it. Okay, so that's what we popped up onto its own layer. Just the white part. Go up to Filter again, choose Blur, Radial Blur. Zoom, and I don't even know why there's a choice here. Of course I want the best quality. And then this is up to you, how much you like. I'm probably going to go a lot so we can see it here. But then you want to put the center around where you think the sun is, or whatever your light source is going to be. And now I'm assuming the light source is way up here somewhere. So you can just, I'm sticking it here at the top. Click OK. It does go faster if you choose draft. So if you like less quality and you a few seconds faster. So in case it's worth it to you to get done that much faster.
So is that under free
This will be printable. Cool. I actually have printed this picture pretty big.
I mean, your choice is draft and all that. Is that a preview choice?
Oh, it's just how the math problem it's going to use to stretch out those pixels. If you use draft, it's going to kind of cut some corners. And so yeah, it would be fine for a preview. If you're wondering how much, like to drag the slider, that'd probably be good use for that. Or if your computer's really slow. And this was going to take like, maybe in version like 10 versions ago, when this was going to take like an hour to render, choose draft first and see how it looks. But whereas it only takes, a minute, I like to actually see, because then you can zoom in and actually see what your quality's looking like. Okay, so that looks alright, but if you want more, right, you can kind of see it, but if you really want to exaggerate it, you can just duplicate the layer, hit Command J as many times as you like. That might be a little bit intense. Throw one of those away.
Looks like God's coming.
So you've got, what, 3 layers? Let's go with 2. And you can adjust the opacity. Let's say you wanted 51.5. You can drag your opacity right here down to 50%. That'll give you 1.5. Okay, now there's a couple of problems we have. I'm going to join those 2 layers together by hitting Command E. Right here, if you'll notice, usually the light doesn't actually come out of the tree, right? Usually. Unless you're maybe Lord of the Rings or something like. So you just add a layer mask, just like everything. And just fix any, now it can go over the trees, that's fine, as long as it doesn't start in the tree, right? And this foreground object's really the only one we have to fix. Oops. So there we have it. So kind of plain and boring, and then
good before.
a lot better. Okay, we got a few minutes.